Well, everybody gets scared by the, quote, commodity inflation. The Fed doesn't like that. They like stock inflation. They won't admit that term, but they like that. Or they like junk bond inflation. They don't like it when it goes into commodities. So commodities woke up without, in other words, some investors said, okay, I'm going to move into a low-priced asset category that's not going to go to zero. And it's been beat up for so long that the risk is off the page in terms of being definable, and therefore there's only reward. But when you look at the Bloomberg, it's really only one-third of the way back up to the price highs it saw in 2011. Now, gold, we know, peaked also in 2011 and collapsed 50%. Bloomberg collapsed more than that. But Bloomberg's only a third of the way back to the high, and everybody's screaming, how come gold's not exploding? Well, everybody's talking about how bad year it was for gold. Gold dropped 3.5% December to December close. Okay? So it wasn't that bad of a year. Yes, the miners got beat up, and silver got beat up more, on a percent basis. But by our metrics, they're still intact for more upside. In fact, we've got some numbers that aren't too far above the market that we want to see achieved that will indicate that silver and the miners are now in gear with what gold, I think, has done in the last quarter, which was cross some numbers that we thought were pretty important. But we also wanted to see silver agree with it and the miners agree with it, and they didn't. They came up close to our numbers but failed to cross them. Now, those numbers, those breakout numbers that we defined via our own proprietary methods, have adjusted down for this quarter. And it won't take a large rally at all for those metrics to be crossed, in which case then we see a chorus that says gold, silver, and miners all agree we're going back up. So that's what we're watching. But I think the pivotal asset category to watch is the stock market, also the junk corporate bond market. If those asset categories start to break, now, they'll break our numbers before they alarm anybody else, but if they start to concern analysts, investors, and so forth with doubt, not necessarily with great pain, but with, gee, what's going on here?
Yeah.
If that starts to occur, the Fed's going to get nervous because that's an asset category that is off the page, bubbled, and if it starts to come undone, the Fed will have the greatest chore it ever had in its history, trying to save a bubble collapse that they created themselves. And it's going to be an intellectual problem for them, and it's going to be like sitting in a movie theater with some popcorn and laughing, as far as I'm concerned, because they've created a situation of their own, their own construction that could come unwound. And I think if we see those categories start to break down, that's when more and more investors are going to say, okay, I want to shift some money.
So how are the gold and silver shares looking right now? I know on the gold, GDX and GDXJ, are they anywhere near some important
a
trigger
couple
points?
In fact, the high we made in November, if you go look at your charts and you see the silver high was up at 2550 area. And they failed to close over a certain level that we needed to see exceeded on a weekly close to generate what we call a quarterly buy signal. So they failed to do it, though gold did. But silver didn't agree. So then we dropped back down. But now that number has adjusted, and I won't get real specific because that's what our subscribers pay for, but it won't take a lot above the recent high, the high of where we closed last month, which was 2350 area. You get up about $1 above there, it's going to look pretty good. So you don't have to go back to the November highs that we saw in the gold miners, the rally high that failed, and which was above 35 on GDX, for example. We don't have to go above there to break out. And silver got up to 20 in the mid-25s. You don't have to get back there to break out via our metrics, in which case we will issue a report saying, okay, we're full. It's a full court press now. All the metals are in agreement. And I think that probably will be somewhat coincident with the fracturing of the stock market. Fracturing of our numbers, that is. And again, our numbers aren't that far below. So you get to our trigger numbers, and we're not going to have alarm in the Wall Street Journal. You won't be breaking stuff that's too obvious. But for us, it'll be obvious. And I think at that point we can say, okay, there's an asset class shift underway here that's going to gain steam.
All right, so real quickly, Michael, higher or lower at the end of 2022? Gold, silver?
Oh, higher, much higher.
A dollar?
Dollar lower.
UST bonds,
I'm
you're
going
not
to guess
sure?
the dollar, which is now in the mid-90s, could be in the mid-70s without a lot of
Whoa.
effort.
Whoa,
In a span of a year or two. Yeah.
Before we continue, help us clicking that YouTube like button and subscribe now to our channel. This shows the algorithm that you valued this information. And it helps us spread that message. Sharing is caring. And now, let's continue.
I have bad news for you. If you're not rich by now, you're screwed. And if you're in debt, you're even double screwed. How so, you might wonder? Well, the sad truth is that you're working your whole life to make someone else rich. The mega corporations, the banks, the politicians, everyone is getting richer. They get your money. And what is even worse, they get your time, they get your life. You are not even in a rat race, you're in a financial prison. But what could a solution for you look like? Honestly, I don't know, but I know what a solution for me would look like. It's very simple. I use whatever money I have and I multiply it with 1,000. This could make my life much easier and probably yours as well. If you have $1,000 available and multiply this with 1,000, I believe that this could solve some financial issue for the one or the other. Of course, if you're ugly, you would have to multiply it with much more than 1,000. My name is Marco Stan, and this is what I decided to do. I decided to 1000x my money. This is not a joke. I know what you may be thinking. What is this guy talking about? How should this work? This is not possible. Well, I made a detailed video where I laid out my plan. And some clever folks might even want to look at this plan and copy it and do exactly what I do. This is just a little hint on the side. You have two options. You leave, you forget what you have seen. You do whatever you're doing and you hope that somehow you get some other results. Good luck with that. Or you click the link below the video. You enter your email address because I'm not showing this to everybody. You at least watch my video on how I plan to 1000x my money. The choice is yours. Make the right choice. Join me. See what a different future you could have. See at least how I plan to do the 1000x. So click on the link below, enter your email address, and I see you on the other side. Your Marco Stan.